Hello, I'm Pamela Davis Brown. Welcome to episode 256 of the Well Done Life podcast. And hello, welcome back to episode 256 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I hope that you will stay for a very long time. Thank you for joining the party. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you for continuing to support me on this journey. I wouldn't be here without you, and I'm truly grateful for your support. So please continue to stay and bring friends. Before we get started with this week's episode, I like to be really foundational. For you who have listened to this episode before, I'm sure you can recite this with me, but it is really important to me that we create this safe space on a very solid foundation. And so my foundation is built on two very important things, which is which is clarity and love. Even though I guess faith might need to be another pillar, but we'll talk about that. But clarity and love. Clarity is really straightforward. I just like to make sure that you understand that I created the Well Done Life because I truly believe in the power of women. I believe in the power of women sharing their stories. And I hope that by me sharing my experiences and journey, as well as spotlighting other women, that I'm giving you an opportunity to understand that there are things that you don't have to do, because I always want to make sure you avoid my pitfalls, and hopefully inspire you to see that if I could do it or some other amazing woman who is out here doing amazing things in their community can do it, so can you, because you bring something wonderful and divine, and we need you. As women, we have to support each other, and especially as Black women, it is so important that we share each other's journey so that the next generation can be better. That's our rent for living here in this beautiful world. And then my second foundation, which I said before, is love. Everything we do here in this space is rooted in love. I truly believe in that. And one of the things that is a part of that love for me is always sharing prayers. I truly believe in the power of prayer, especially when two or more come together. So for me, I always like to make sure that we start this episode off on 3 foundational prayers. It might be 4 because I just don't remember, but blame that on perimenopause. However, the first foundational prayer that we are going to start with is always going to be clarity. In a world that is so noisy and so many things constantly being thrown at you, it is so essential that you give yourself space to be able to have clarity. You need moments, pockets of peace where you can be still, where you can dial back into yourself and you are able to regulate your mind and your body so that you have clarity on the steps that you need to take, on what's happening around you. It is essential because, again, you have to make decisions sometimes at breakneck speed, and you need to be able to take moments of clarity. And I don't care if you steal moments in your car, in your closet, whatever you need to do. Make sure you're doing something that feeds into you. It is not your job just to run in a continuous circle for other people. Because when you have clarity, which leads me into my second prayer, it allows you to be able to have peace. It is so important that you prioritize your peace. Because like I said, we are moving at breakneck speed, sometimes making decisions, taking care of others while trying to even take care of ourselves. And it's a lot. And so you have to carve out what your peaceful time looks like. And in that peace, that's your moment, like you said, where you get still, where you're able to regulate your mind and your body, see clarity, and allow peace to be able to come in, because you need to be able to see things as they are so that you are able to move forward in the best way possible. It's not about trying to guarantee perfection. There is no way that you can guarantee perfection in anything that you do, but you can always take a moment for yourself to breathe, to get still, to be clear, and to move forward. And being clear and moving forward with the information available to you, making the best decision possible for you. And then that leads me into my third prayer for you, which is going to always be community. I think it's really important that you have a tribe, that you have a clique. We are not meant to do this thing out here by ourselves. We need support. We need encouragement. So I hope that your tribe and your clique love you to the top of your head from the bottom of your feet. I mean, I want you to have real solid love, real solid people in your life, because it's crazy out here. There is nobody coming to save us but us. So you need to make sure that you have the right people on your team. You have the right circle around you. And that's family, that's friends. You know what that looks like, because family is not just defined by blood. And so you have to make sure that you have that right group of people around you, because you deserve really true, lasting, beautiful, and reciprocal love. And that's where it comes from. That's the root of it right there. And then rounding out my prayers, yes, there's a fourth one. See, just perimenopause, just whapped it right on out, is abundance. I'm always going to stand on abundance for you, because I do want you to be financially blessed. I want you to be able to have blessings that will allow you to be a blessing to other people. But I also want to make sure that we are finding moments of joy, that we are creating abundance in our spirit, because those are the things that last so much longer than monetary things. And so I hope you are able to steal small moments for yourself with the people that you love and create beautiful memories, because those are far richer than any dollar that you will ever make or receive. And so those are my prayers for you. I am recording on Saturday, July 25th at 2:23 p.m. And I am so grateful to be able to be back. I want to thank everyone for their support of last week's episode, Ask for What You Want. Yes, I really appreciate it. I got some really cool feedback about it. And I hope that, you get a chance to listen to it if you haven't, because it is essential that you understand that it is a beautiful space for you to be in when you are surrounded by people where you can ask for what you want and know that they have the capability, and capacity and desire, as my husband reminded me, to give you what you need, to give you what you truly need. You just have to be willing to ask. And you have to be willing to take a chance on that. And we're going to talk about taking chances, making decisions, or being courageous in our decisions today. But I want you to understand the power of being able to recognize that. That's why, to me, it is so important to talk about community, because you need that group of people in your life. I mean, don't get me wrong. We've all been with people and love people even family members who we know have our back to an extent, because there's only so much that person has the capability or capacity to do. And don't get me wrong, and I talk about it in last week's episode, so you got to go back and listen to it. It's not that these people are bad people. That's not it. It's not. It's not that they're bad people, but you have to understand that sometimes people only can meet you so far. Most oftentimes, I think what people forget is that, sometimes when you're telling people about what you want to do in life, or where you want to go, you get those people who instantly naysay it. They're not haters. They just, I really know that they're not. And you know that they're not. They're not negative people, but they always seem to find a negative thing to say about it. Even like you could be trying to go to Europe and they're like, you wouldn't want to go over there. Why you want to go over there? What's in Europe? We got everything we need over here. Why are you trying to go all the way across the water? And a lot of times we have to recognize that those people are projecting their fears and insecurities on you. And sometimes we miss that, because you get so caught up in the feelings because you love this person, you care about this person, you value and respect their opinion. And that's a beautiful thing, and you should. But you also have to have a measured understanding that sometimes people don't have the capacity to allow you to dream big because they can't dream big for themselves. Not everybody is able to look at someone else's life from a selfless perspective and give neutral feedback without projecting your personal feelings on it. It really is hard. It's not something that everyone has the capability of doing. And it takes time actually to build that skill, because I'm not going to sit up here and act like I always have had that capacity. There have been times in my life where, if I think about it in relationships, especially with friends, where I was a little jealous about how these people were moving and grooving in their life, and I would project my own insecurities on them. And I mean, maybe that's just me, but it's the truth. And I had to recognize that side of myself in order to kill that side of myself. But that's a whole nother discussion. But I encourage you to take a listen to that episode, because I think it's essential, especially as women over 40, entering into the latter years of our lives. And for the men that may be listening to this episode as well, because I do have men listeners, that you also are a part of this. We have to get to that point where we recognize when we have people in our lives, be it relationship, be it family, be it friends, be it colleagues, who have the capacity of being able to give you what you want, measured with true desire to see you be successful, to see you be happy. We have to be able to ask for it. And so I hope you get a chance to take a listen and enjoy that episode, and let me know, your thoughts on being able to ask for what you want, and maybe what's holding you back, so we can kind of talk about it. Because like I said, today, I wanted to talk about making decisions, about being courageous in our decision making, because it really is, if you think about it, a kind of a nice piggyback off of last week's episode about asking what you want. And I talked a little bit about being able to deal with yourself and being able to ask for what you want, because that's part of it. You have to be able to deal with yourself in order to get to the point where you can truly ask for what you want. Because, I mean, let's just be real. A lot of us are the reasons why we've only moved to certain spaces and places in our lives. I mean, and again, I'm going to say that again. A lot of us are the reason why we haven't moved to certain places and spaces or accomplished certain things in our life. And I'm not discounting what life does, because let's be honest, I can just keep it all the way trill with you. Life has done its number in my own life. I have had many different situations, deaths, losses, financial catastrophes, I've been laid off before. I've done it all. And life did its thing. But at the same time, there were seasons and moments in my life where, if I'm truly being honest, truly looking at everything, where it wasn't life, it was me. It was truly me. I didn't have the courage to make a radical choice. I didn't trust me. I did not trust myself. And I know that that's a hard thing sometimes for us to be able to say, but as we are trying to be the best versions of ourselves, and I'm not talking about just from a financial standpoint, I'm talking about from a health standpoint, I'm talking about just from even taking the trip or doing the thing, many of us get locked down in our fears. Many of us forget that just because something didn't go the way that we prayed for doesn't mean that we weren't supposed to have it. It doesn't mean that. Just because something didn't, go well, even after we prayed for it, even after God brought us forth to it, and it still didn't work out, doesn't mean that we make bad decisions. Just because you may have been in a relationship with someone who you thought was the right person for you and it wound up not working out, doesn't mean that you automatically don't make right decisions. It just means that you can do hard things. You can make hard choices and survive them, because many of us are on the other side of hard decisions. I mean, I didn't want to ever file bankruptcy. That was definitely not in my plan. It wasn't what I wanted to do. But in order for me to move forward, in order for me to be at a point in life where I'm at right now, I had to make them hard choices. And those hard choices come with consequences. I mean, let's all be real. We all understand that there are consequences, and we are scared to death of the consequences many, many times, because we don't know what we're going to face. And it's just like, you're nervous, you're breathing hard, your back's up against the wall in some situations. and you wind up having to make a choice and roll the dice and hope for the best. But we made it to the other side. So I want to talk about it because, like I said, I feel like it's the companion to being able to ask for what you want. In order for you to be able to ask for what you want, you have to deal with yourself. You have to be able to get past your fears and make courageous decisions. And so here we are talking about courage. And, courage is about making a choice. And many times, that being the first thing that we know, we have to make a choice. Like, you got to make a decision. It was interesting. I've been watching this video on TikTok, and I saw this lady who I believe is a mental health therapist, and she was giving lyrics to people who have to make hard choices in relationships. And essentially, I'm just going to paraphrase it, where she was saying is like, I'm love you. I'm always going to love you, but I don't like who I am with you anymore in this relationship. And I feel like we've come to a point in the relationship where I need to make a choice. And I feel like I need to go in a different direction. So essentially, it's an exit script for either a romantic relationship, a friendship, whatever. And, she brought up this good point about how, after she said it, I know for some of you, you instantly felt like a tightening in your chest. And that tightening is your confirmation that it's time for you to make a different decision. And, it's really hard because, when you have to make a decision, when you have to do something differently, we feel those tightening in our chest. We feel that instant fear that this isn't going to go well, that I have to make a choice that I don't want to make. I have to have a conversation that I don't want to have. I potentially am going to hurt somebody. But in order for you to change your life, be it relationships, be it health, be it finances, be it work, what have you, is going to require you to make a hard choice. It is. It always is. I mean, let's take it even from a work standpoint. You may be working another job and you actually are happy and you enjoy the job, but the job is not, let's say, paying you the way that you need to be paid. And you're trying to advance and you wind up taking a chance. You hear about a job, you decide, might as well throw myself in here. Who knows? No, they probably won't even call me. And I still have my other steady Eddie job that's only going to pay you so much so far. And so you go ahead, you try it out, you don't think of anything of it, and then you wind up getting an interview. And that startles you. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and go to the interview. And mind you, you've probably spent a couple of days trying to figure out ways of why you shouldn't even go to the interview because, you got steady Eddie. You weren't thinking that this is going to work out. And you went ahead and tried it out anyway. You went to the interview, you aced the interview, and you get the job offer. And the job offer is more. Let's say it's by 2 times more than what you're getting right now. They're offering unlimited vacation, all the things that you have been waiting for. But let's say that other job, the steady Eddie that you've been on because it's consistent and safe and comfortable, and you've been there for 11 plus years, you're like, you actually take a moment to debate it. And I know I can't be just me because I know I've been in that situation before. My last job before I moved to my current company, I had been in my last job for 11 years. That job got me through my father's death. That job got me in a house. That job got me taking care of my mama when I had to, and before even that, I moved in my sister. That job was all of those things. It was steady Eddie. I knew what I was doing. I could go to work every day, do what I need to do, but it wasn't enough. And I knew it wasn't enough for me because I had made a momentary change, a shift inside of myself after I finally picked myself up outside of the grief that I was going through because I was living through the life of caregiving and grieving to make a decision that I deserve more. I deserve better. Yes, I could do this job with my eyes closed. I had had several opportunities. I was promoted several times and demoted just as well. But I was always kept around, and that kept me loyal. Because again, just kind of thinking about it and even not tying it to relationships or to other things, a lot of times we stay stuck. We stay comfortable in the steady Eddie, even when it doesn't honor who we are because we know what we're doing. It's easy. We don't have to think. We don't have to stretch. We don't have to press. And I mean, like I said, it can't be just me, but I can account hundreds of other things that I have stayed in too long because it was comfortable, because I just didn't have the capacity for more. But in this moment in time, I was ready for more. And so I made a jump. And believe me, I know I made it sound so easy, like I made a jump. That's not what it was. I went back, asked my company that I was at, Steady Eddie, to see if they would, match the offer, see if my loyalty, my 11 years would have bought me a little equity so that they would want to keep me. It didn't. He tried, but he wasn't going to be able to match what they were doing. And so I took a chance. I evaluated the state of my life. I was still a caregiver. I was still doing all the things that I was needed to do, but I took a chance because I recognized in that particular moment in time that I could do hard things and that I was worth it. And so I definitely feel like the first thing to think about is, are you at a place in your life where you have recognized that Steady Eddie, the status quo, isn't enough for you, and that you can do hard things and that you're worth it? Because see, that's the thing that a lot of us don't talk about. When we're talking about making hard decisions, of course, there's always this perspective of write it out, make it plain, think about it, weigh the pros and cons. And all of those are very effective tools to help you. But ultimately, is it really about the pros and cons, or is it about you? Is it about you recognizing that you are worth this upheaval? I say this all the time to my friends and my family. I've said this to my husband. Blowing up your life is not easy. I mean, many of us, especially those of us who are over 40, we've been in roles and spaces for a very long time. We have longevity. We do. I'm not going to lie. Gen X, we are longevity people. I mean, we bounce around, we do our things, whatever. But we've been comfortable. We've been steady. And I don't care if I'm talking about your job, your man, whatever. That there are places and spaces that you have been in for entirely too long because of Steady Eddie. And you know that you are worth and ready for a change, but you're holding yourself back. And like I said, I was in that space. But at some point in time, the light bulb shifted and I was ready for a change. And so you have to evaluate yourself and ask yourself, are you ready for a change? Because blowing up your life isn't easy. And it wasn't. It's never going to be perfect. And don't get me wrong, I prayed consistently about this move, the moves that I've made in my life. And I prayed consistently about that job. I did. I wanted God just to help me, be able to find a way. And he did. And he helped me get out. And that came with a whole new host of challenges. I mean, I work completely remote and I'm a manager and I manage people and I've never met them. It's a totally different environment. It was very different than what I was used to. And thinking about now the travel that sometimes is required as a part of it. And how does that manage and navigate with my family situation? So that I had to think about a lot of different things. But I said, you know what? I can do hard things and I'm worth it. And so I made adjustments. And as I made adjustments, things got easier and I started to see success. And successes started to be the litmus test for me, I'll be honest, building my courage. And so I think for all of us who are on this journey, that needs to be the second thing that you think about. You have to think about after you've made the hard choice and after you start to work through it and you recognize that it's still hard and you are kind of frustrated because you've been praying about it and you've been asking God to help you through it and God's helping you through it and brought it to you and it still at times is jacked up. We have to understand that we can do hard things. We can work through it because we're worth it. And the wins start to rack up and build your courage to keep going. Because it's very easy to get caught up in things and to allow them to keep you kind of pushed down, keep you kind of status quo, keep you questioning yourself and your discernment. That is really something that happens a lot of times because, like I said, we're praying, we're doing all the things that we do that we should do to get a good outcome. But sometimes the outcome at first is still tough. It's still kind of raggedy. And it's just like you start to wonder why. I mean, maybe that's just me. You start to question, like, God, I know you can hear me. I know I'm on the main line. Why aren't things so smooth? And you start to have that fear and doubt when it's not so smooth that maybe I made the wrong choice. That's not the moment to think that. That's the moment where you have to stop yourself, where you have to give yourself peace and clarity to look at all the things that you've been doing and to recognize that you can do hard things and that if you stay consistent, if you stay focused, if you stay diligent, the courage will come from the wins that start to come out because the wins do start to come. The choices do start to show you the fruits of the choice. And that can be from losing weight and being in a relationship. It's not always going to be hard. And I think we forget that. We forget that just because we made a tough decision and it hurts right now, we think that the hurt is going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. I can't give you a time frame on it because that's unfortunately how life works. There's always going to be seasons of grief, seasons of sadness, seasons of hardness. But again, you have survived before. What makes you think that you wouldn't survive right now? And recognize that you are in a different space now, that you can ask and do hard things and ask for what you need because you have people who would encourage you and support you on the journey and keep you focused, keep you moving, keep supporting you as you are going forward. And so, like I said, just kind of as we're talking through this today, it is recognizing that you do have to get to a point where you're ready for the shift and you make the choice. You have to understand, secondly, the choice is going to be hard. No matter how much you pray, no matter what, it's still going to be potentially seasons where it's rough, but that your prayer is working, and you also have to remember that you can do hard things. And if you stay consistent and focused, the wins will give you more courage and confidence. And for me, I'll be honest, I really feel like that has been a real foundational part of where I have gotten to, especially in these last few years of my life. I mean, I really look at where I was when I turned 50 to where I am now at 53. And you could not have paid me to believe that I would be married to my college sweetheart. I would have lost over 86 pounds and be on this whole new body recomp journey, that I would be trying to build and grow and expand this business. Like, honey, I have a whole new set of visions and goals for myself. And it is definitely taken me a lot of courage and a lot of reminders that I can do hard things and that my prayers aren't in vain and that my consistency, yes, my consistency, I have to just like highlight that word. There is sexiness in consistency. We talked about that before. There is power in consistency. And to be here now, I can't even fathom it. And so I'm saying all these things to you because I want you to recognize a pattern of how it is so important that at some point in your life that you trust you. Now, you have to trust you, like really trust you. You have to trust you like you trust God. And even in that, you got to really ask yourself, do you really trust God? And when I say, do you really trust God, I'm not saying, do you not believe in God? I know you believe in God, but I'm talking about, do you trust him? Do you trust him to come through for you even when it doesn't make sense? Do you trust him to come through for you even when you don't get what you want when you want it? That's what I'm talking about, that level of trust. You have to be willing to understand that your prayers your timing, your thoughts, your perspective is not going out in vain. All things are working within his timing, but his timing is not your timing. And because of that, you can't give up. You have to recognize that God will present things in your life when you are far from ready in your mind. But God's like, okay, seems like the proper time to me. I mean, no offense. I was not looking to get married. I was not. Like I said, I was focused on trying to eradicate myself from a situation with someone who was a wonderful person. But he was not the person that I should be looking at as someone that I wanted to spend a future with, because he wasn't the right person for me. And then all of a sudden, here comes my husband, and it just happened like clockwork. And don't get me wrong, we had our moments, we had our trials, we had our tribulations, we had things that we worked through over the course of our relationship. But to be where I am now, to be 53, to be married for over a year, I couldn't imagine it, especially as a first-time bride. Child, I was comfortable being that rich auntie in my mind. Rich, not necessarily rich financially, even though, I'm speaking existence over that as well. But I'm talking about rich auntie vibes. I was cool with that. Travel, do my thing, live life. And God said, I got a whole new trick for you, girl. You ain't going to be by yourself very long. And now I have this wonderful relationship, this friendship, this partner, this life partner. And I'm so grateful, especially in this latter season of my life, because I'll be honest, I don't have that many summers left. And if I get to spend all those with him, I'm eternally blessed. Like God he wouldn't have to give me anything else because he gave me him. And so I'm saying that to say you never know when your time is going to come, and you can't block it. Let me take it back. You can block it. You can try to kick it down the road. You could do what you need to do, but when it's for you, baby, it's for you. And God will convict you. He will sit on you, because he sure sat on me to be upfront about what I wanted, and trust that this man that he picked would be able to give me with what I needed, with love and full desire. And so I hope that will encourage you to understand, take a chance, trust it, question it, pray about it, but take a chance and trust that you can do hard things, and that the successes and your consistency and your dedication will improve your confidence. I mean it. I don't even have to take it all the way from a relationship standpoint. I'm even talking just from like a practical standpoint. I'll be honest. I took a chance on myself losing weight. I took a chance, but I was ready. God knew I was ready for this season of my life, because he knew that I'm trying to do something totally different. And the person that was inside of me that needed to come out, who was healthier and ready for this, was ready. And I was ready to become that person. And so I've been betting on myself. And I'll be honest, yes, I take a GLP-1, I do all those things, but I can tell you right off rip, what has gotten me to where I am is when I finally got consistent. When I got consistent about what I wanted, when I am disciplined and focused about the fact that I am trying to have the mind of God and the body of a stripper. So I need to get my butt in the gym, make sure I am eating well, doing what I need to do, resting myself, being intentional with me and getting me together. And it is bearing fruit. It is bearing fruit. And that's really what it is. A lot of times it's us afraid to make the hard decisions because, we haven't had as many wins as we would have liked in order to help build up our confidence. But can I tell you, your confidence will be built through the wins that you will acquire through your consistency and faith and trust that you can do hard things, that you can make hard decisions, and you can go forward because you're still here past the mistakes that you've already made. You're still here. You're still here. And I just want to make sure I reiterate that to you because it's so important that we give ourselves that space, that understanding that you are still here. If you had to sit and look at the sum of your life and all the things that you have endured and to recognize where you are right now and what's still ahead of you, that should give you fuel enough to recognize that you can do hard things. and that you are worth those hard decisions. And that even though it may not work out the way you want it to in the beginning, that your consistency, your dedication, and your faith will get you what you want. And I want to leave you with one last thought or a challenge. What's one decision you've been postponing because you're waiting to know it will work out? What if the question isn't whether it'll work out? What if the real question is whether you trust yourself enough to handle whatever happens next? Make the decision. Trust you can make courageous decisions. You can do hard things. And you will be successful through your consistency and your dedication. And trust the timing of your life. As long as you are still alive, there is room out here in space for you to achieve, to be successful, to live, to thrive. It's not over. Don't make it be over because you don't know if you can handle what happens next. Look at where you are now and know. Be affirmed, be redeemed in knowing that you can do it. So that is this week's episode. I cannot wait to hear what courageous things that you do. Drop me notes and let me know in, the show notes. Send me an email at hello@thewelldonelife or thewelldonelife@gmail.com or hit me up on social media. I'm really serious, y'all. I really want to know. I will even start you off. One thing that I plan on doing, I'm really very focused on my health journey. And I have been working out this year as my body recomp. I'm trying to get my body fat under control because my goal next year is that I want to train for a wellness competition, not a bikini thing, but healthy, fit model competition. I don't want to I don't want to starve myself because I like food, but I want to be more defined. I really want to do it from a natural perspective and I'll be 54 and I think I can do it. I love lifting big weights and we're going to talk about it more, but I am going to put it out in the ethos because I've been talking about it with my husband and my friends that this is what I want to do. And so here, y'all are my friends, y'all are part of my family. So I'm coming to you that I've made this courageous decision. And so right now, I'm using my workouts and being very disciplined with my eating and getting myself together to prepare to transition into that next year. And so I will, share that journey as well. But I want to show you that I've made a courageous decision. And I don't know how it's going to turn out, I'll be honest. And I'm 53, almost 54. God knows I'm trying to protect this body from any injury possible. So I just think about, all of those things, but it won't deter me because I trust that I can do hard things. And I know that my wins and success that I see and as I'm building muscle and all of that is preparing me for that. So I hope that encourages you. Or if not, at least makes you laugh wow, she's really going to do this. Yes, I'm really serious about having the body of a stripper, but that's a whole nother conversation. Mind of God, though, body of a stripper. And so I wanted to make sure I left you that. Hopefully it made you smile. Hopefully it encouraged you. But like I said, I would love to be able to support and encourage you on the journey because remember, we're in that season of a life where we ask for what we want because we know that we are surrounded by people who have the capability and desire to give us what we desire, what we need. And then at the same time, we can also make courageous decisions because we trust that we're worth it and that we understand that even though we don't know what's on the other side, we can still do hard things and we will be successful. So I'm going to stop talking now. I want you to take care of yourselves. I hope that you will enjoy the rest of your day. And I will talk to you guys next week is my plan. I'm going to bring my equipment with me. I'm going to see my hubs. I'll be around and I'll talk to you guys then. Take care. Bye.